when I first moved here, I moved to the Bronx. I was sleeping on a couch. My girlfriend, whose cousin, allowed me to sleep on her couch. I slept on many couches, girl.
Right.
Many couches in Castle Hill, in the South Bronx. But for me, I just went from one hood to the next.
Yeah.
So it didn't really faze me, you know? And I always like to see the beauty in things. And I found a lot of cool people. And I had a focus. I was focused. I was like, I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to go to school. And I'm going to be on the radio. That's my plan.
Oh, my gracious.
Even back in high school, Jennifer inspired more than
Cambié la imagen por vender discos.
Come on, shake your body, baby, do that conga.
What's going on? Welcome to Growing Up Latina. I am your host, Ali V, and I'm excited today. I said this offline. I low-key felt like I was stalking you because I was reaching out for like such a long time. I feel like I've been working on this for like a year and a half.
Oh my God.
Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. And I told you this off camera, but I have to apologize to you because I didn't realize how many times you reached out. And then
So many times.
I'll be real with you. I don't necessarily like love doing podcasts.
I know you don't.
I'm not. So I think the first time my assistant told me, I was just like, you know, I was just kind of like, but not because of you. It's just in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe she must have been like, all right. And then afterwards, she just didn't ask me at all. And then
Shout out to you.
Because she knows, though. She knows me.
Yeah,
she knows me. And then later on, she was like, hey, remember that? You know, Natalie and Nicole did this. Like, you sure you want to do it? Like, I think you should do it. And I was like, let me look. And I was like, oh my God, she reached out mad times.
Mad times.
Like a year. I was like, said, let me send it to me. So then I replied for my personal email to you.
Yes.
So I'm sorry about that. And I appreciate you reaching out and being excited to have me. And I'm happy I'm here.
Yes. Laura Stylez.
Yes,
Welcome
hi.
to Growing Up Latina. So I want to get into why you don't do interviews, because you're right, you don't do interviews often.
Yeah.
Is it because you're not nervous? Like, you do this all the
No.
time. This is your job. Like,
Yeah.
So why don't you do interviews?
Because I talk all day.
Yeah. So you're done with it.
I was just like, my day starts at 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on air from, because our show is syndicated now. So by 5:30, I'm in front of a mic. Sometimes I don't finish till like 11. And then I have other markets that I work on. And then I do tons of like side projects, voiceover work. Girl, I'm burnt out. Like my
She's
brain
like, I don't want to
afterwards,
tell
like,
my story anymore.
I just be like, after a while. So this is just me being honest. You know what I mean?
Facts. We love that.
And then, so after a while, I just, I'm beat. And then I have a 4-year-old who's going through the why mommy stage. So I'm just like, we're going to go through that. No, but I'm happy to be here. But
I'm glad you're here.
It's just not, I'll be honest with you. I just don't always say yes to podcasts because of exhaustion. Nothing personal. I just talk all damn day. So after a while, I'm just like, again, but no, this is fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here with you.
Thank you so much for replying.
Yes.
Nothing to feel embarrassed about. I would have went for another year, just hitting you
God,
up like,
no,
need Laura. It's so funny because I actually put up a post on my GUL page.
Okay.
And I was like, who do you guys want to see on the podcast? And multiple people were like, Laura Stylez.
Oh, that makes
and I'm
me
like,
happy.
I'm trying to get her.
Yay.
So I'm glad this worked out.
Me too. Me too. I
always kind of get into like the Sala vibes, right?
Okay.
Like, what was that for you? Because everyone's Sala looks different.
Yeah.
But what was it for you? What novelas were you watching? What music were you listening to? What kind of food were you eating? Like, paint me that picture of like what
growing
your
up?
Sala looked like.
Okay, so my family's from Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is Guatemalan, but his father was from Belize. So, and my immigrant parents. So my parents worked a lot, multiple jobs. My dad was a bookbinder. My mom was a housekeeper. And so I will tell you, growing up, my salas, because I had multiple, look different, right?
Yeah.
So when I was at home with my mom, She loves to play. I mean, I would wake up, typical Latina household, right? Or any household, to be honest with you, because I feel like when you speak to other people, like you find so much similarity in culture, right?
Yes.
So of course, whatever, music is native to you. But so being from Guatemala, my mom played a lot of marimba, which is like native, like Guatemalan music, right? We played a lot of marimba, a lot of salsa, a lot of merengue. So it would be Gilberto Santa Rosa at 7 a.m. Juan Luis Guerra, like, let's go, clean up time.
Yep.
So it was very much that, right? It was very much that. But my mom was real cool because she was like, we would do that, chores were done, and she would let me watch like WWE afterwards. And she would sit right next to me. She's like, why do you like this? And at the time, I'm like, I just do,
Yeah.
Or WWF, that's what it was called back then. But being that my parents worked a lot too, I spent a lot of time with like my best friend, who is just a Black American household, where I learned so much about like life, So that's when I would step into and I fell in love with like Marvin Gaye and Roberta Flack and I like the OJs. I learned a little bit about everything, but it was definitely interesting growing up because being that my parents didn't really speak English. So as you're growing up, and I'm sure you could relate to this, you could get away with a lot more mischief when you're little.
Yes.
So because I didn't speak the language, I could say certain words that to them, they were just like, they didn't know what it meant.
Yes.
And I would go to my neighbor's house, my best friend Ashanti's house. And I remember being one time in the living room being like, hell no. Her mom looked at me like, we don't say that word in this house. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like the word hell? I didn't even know it was a bad word. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would get checked in a different way, but I appreciate it because I just didn't know any better. And my parents didn't speak the language. So it very much shaped me. And seeing different versions of like what I now, in retrospect, like dynamic and strong women, like that really was a beautiful thing for me to like really reflect on. Because while my mom was a hard worker, my mom was, I told you she was a housekeeper.
Yes.
But my mom was very much like quiet, humble, religious at the time.
Yes.
Not very opinionated. And then, but would teach me different things of how to be a compassionate person. But then I would go to like my best friend's house and I saw this strong Black woman who is like a boss and calling the shots and making money. And I would be like, wow, you know what I mean? I was just so like impressed. So I was able to like benefit from two different worlds that were so beautiful to me now that in retrospect, you know what I mean? And it's like, but it very much inspired the woman that I am today.
Yeah. I think that's interesting because growing up for me, I always felt like my family used the language against me.
Okay.
So it was like my mother would speak like amongst like her siblings or my aunts.
Yeah.
And well, her siblings, but then you have aunts at the
Yeah, of course.
We all have aunts, but they're not really our aunts.
Not aunts.
Right.
Yeah. Cousins, not cousins.
But she would like talk in Spanish and I was like really, really young. I was born in Puerto Rico, moved to Harlem. When I moved here, I didn't even know English. Didn't understand it. But then I go to school here. Then I lose my Spanish. So then she started using the language against me. So she would talk about me and then she would be like, go to your room. And I'm like, but what did I do? What was spoken about that now I'm in trouble? Like it was the weirdest thing. And then the other, I guess, dynamic is, and I feel like this is true for not all, but like most Latino households where it's really like the female that's like that power person, right? Like I grew up around a lot of like powerful women. I have 5 sisters.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm like, I've fallen the youngest.
Okay.
So I grew up just like seeing all these powerful women and my dad kind of like just wasn't around.
Okay.
So for me, it was like, that's all I know was that woman influence.
I love that.
So I wonder, like, while your mom was working, where was your dad at this point?
So we had a very tumultuous relationship with them. It wasn't healthy. I didn't have a healthy upbringing with my father. He very much was like what I say goes, abusive. So it just wasn't a, listen, we had moments where it was really nice, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he definitely was a control freak.
Okay.
And my mom definitely like fell in line.
Okay.
So I grew up being like, I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not going to be me growing up.
Did you resent her at any, like,
yes,
okay.
At certain points, I resented her, but I just wasn't educated enough to fully understand why she was like that, right? And then I got older and I understood, like, wait, this is control. Like, my father used, like, she used to make, like, I remember she used to make, like, $75 cleaning a house, and he would take all her money.
He was the IRS. Yeah,
and maybe let her keep, like, 10, you know what I mean? And I would be like, why? And I was always asking questions and why. And he hated that. He hated why I was always, like, trying to debate and ask questions. And so it was like, it had, like, the opposite effect on me. I was very much like, yeah, that's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. So as the older and more opinionated I got, the more we were just, like, fighting 24/7.
Right.
So it wasn't a great situation. But, you know, later on, when I was like, this is all she has, you know. I remember at one point in my life, I was begging her, like, let's get out of here. Like, let's move. Let's leave him.
Like, you took that initiative and told her.
Yeah. I was like, I have a little job. I'm in high school. You know, I can work more hours. I've always been a hustler. I have had a job since I was 13 years old. Like, I've never not had a job.
Yeah.
So I was always trying to, like, convince her, let's get out of here. And her biggest fear was not being able to, like, put a roof over our heads, you know? So fear is what stopped her from moving forward. And then I left very young age. I left home. And then my little sister followed afterwards. But not until I was able to, like, have these real, like, heart-to-heart conversations with her where I truly, like, appreciated her for who she was.
And at what age did that happen?
It started, well, I left home very young. I left home, and one of the reasons I ended up in New York.
Right, because I remember you moved, so at 19, I believe, right? That's when you moved from LA to New York.
Yeah.
But that was pure passion. Like, you were just following your dreams at that moment.
Well, it was pure passion, and, like, I got to get the hell away from my abusive father.
Okay.
So it was a combination of both of them. You know what I mean? And, like,
but where does that thought process come from, right? Like, because there has to be a sense of, like, fearlessness. Yeah. For you to just, like, leave, like, knowing that this is kind of like the household that you have, and then it's like, I'm gonna leave my mom behind. Is she gonna be okay? Like, how are you processing this?
So, like, growing up in Los Angeles, like, in the 90s, it wasn't that cute, girl. I love it for what it is, but what I'm trying to say is, it was like my neighborhood was rough. You know what I mean? And all over me, it's like, oh, my friend that I went, actually, like 1, 2, 3, 4 of the girls that I went to, like, elementary school with, and then went to junior high school, were all pregnant with all their, you know, their significant others left them. So there are a bunch of teen moms everywhere. There was crazy gangs, and my neighborhood was infested with gangs. So it was more like, am I going to be next? And I was so anti. I was always like the sore thumb. I was like I would hang out with the skaters, you know what I mean? I was in love with hip hop, so I'm always going to, like, cyphers. I didn't care about gang life, you know what I mean? Right. And it was very interesting for me because I remember growing up, I grew up in a heavy, like, it was Mexican and Central American neighborhood, right? It was very split that, and it was a black neighborhood. But because I loved hip hop so much, I was always, like, going to, like, the hip hop spots or the underground spots, and, like, my best friends were black girls. And a lot of at the time, the girls that were my age would resent me for that.
Why?
They would be like, why aren't you hanging out with us? Like,
so there was, like, real racism going on.
Yeah. Okay. She was like, they were all like brown pride. And I was like, there is no brown pride for me because, like, I'm not with what you're saying. You know what I mean? So I was very not with it. And I found community in my circles. And the few other Latina women that were, like, part of that circles, it was mixed and it was beautiful. But I was it would literally get it would boil my blood. Yeah. Like, having to, like, have these arguments with people, you know? And whatchamacallit, that was a big thing growing up. But I found community, and I found community and, like, the people who were just thought different, you know? And it's like, if you speak to anybody that came up, like, yo, the gang influence was so deep. Really? Like, it was almost like people were just waiting for you to turn, like, 14 to snatch you up.
Did you ever, like, get into any altercations during this time?
But I tried my best not to. Okay. And not because I was a punk, but because I didn't want to get my face slashed.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So it was not about fighting, because nobody was really, like, fighting. If it was, like, seriously, like, I know so many people who had their face cut, you know? So I was like, I'm not about to get my face slashed, you know? There was a kid in my neighborhood who was, like, good kid, was doing very well, playing sports. He ended up getting, like, his eye slashed. You know what I mean? Because his brother was in a gang. You know how it is. It's like a sick web that you end up falling into, and it's really hard to get out. And I wanted no parts.
But it's interesting because also New York is known for like this like bratty, hard aggressiveness.
Yeah.
So just like the idea of moving to New York, did you fear that at all? Like it may be the same, or
I guess this is when ignorance is bliss. You know what I mean? Because I knew it, but I wasn't. I had been to New York before.
Yeah.
So, and I remember being like, I had been in Miami and I had been in Florida, and I was like planning like, where am I going to live? Where am I going to go? And I was just like, I can't live in Miami. Like, I was just like, nah, it was not my thing.
Not
like,
your vibe.
Yes. Yeah. And then I went to New York and I met so many incredible people, and I was like, this is where I need to be. But for me, it didn't faze me. Like when I first moved here, I moved to the Bronx. I was sleeping on a couch. My girlfriend, whose cousin, allowed me to sleep on her couch. I slept on many couches, girl.
Right.
Many couches in Castle Hill, in the South Bronx. But for me, I just went from one hood to the next.
Yeah.
So it didn't really faze me, you know? And I always like to see the beauty in things. And I found a lot of cool people, and I had a focus. I was focused. I was like, I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to be on the radio. That's my plan.
What school did you go to?
So at the time, because I went to school. I went to Santa Monica College in California, and I transferred, and I lost like almost 2 years of credits. So I was just devastated, right? Because you got to start all over. I was already like, bruh. So I remember going to BMCC.
That was my college.
Yes, so I went to BMCC, and I was just pissed. Because I had to like start all over again.
Yeah.
Like everything they already had done, they were just like, this is not going to transfer. And you know that feeling where you're just like, I just did all this work for nothing, right? So while I was in school and I was able to apply for financial aid, I just remember I was living off of that. I was living off financial aid. That's how I was like able to like survive. And I remember taking a broadcasting course. And at the same time, I had landed an internship. So I was already doing the work, you know, and I was very much like, this is not how they do it anymore. Like class was a bit antiquated, you know?
Yes.
So I essentially got a break, and I followed the break, and I quit school.
So what happens? So you follow the break.
Yeah.
Where do you go during this break?
So when I got a break, it's like I got a job offer.
Okay.
So at the time, I'm like living couches to couches. I'm working at the Diesel store on 59th Street in Lex, doing like windows and cashier, like whatever, anything that I could. I'm working, doing VIP lists at nightclubs at nighttime, at Cheetah or whatever, you know, at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. I'm doing
you were hustling for real.
Babysitting jobs, anything that I could get, because I literally, you know, it was just it's just me. So if I don't come up with money and I needed to get my own place.
Yeah.
So for I remember like for like 4 years, I never had a day off. Yeah, because I was just like, it was survival.
Yeah.
Survival.
But, you know, I wonder, like, because people talk about mental health and it's like a thing now.
Yeah.
But like back then.
Oh, no, I was depressed.
So yeah, like talk about that.
Yeah.
What's going on in your mind? You have no days off.
Yeah.
You're hustling like crazy.
I have no
You're
family.
trying to like follow this passion.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that has its own challenges. Family's not here. So like, who are you talking to? Like who?
So there's few people who really saw me for who I was. And I thank God for them. You know, there was like people who really like saw my hustle. And one of the first people who like treated me as a mentor was Moni Love. Like Moni Love really like, she really, oh my God, I remember watching her and being in studio with her, and she had a baby and she's breastfeeding and she's running the boards and she's editing and she's like, and I was like, wow, like I was looking at her like, that's a bad bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at her like, look at her.
Like you found your person. Like you
it was more like, I was just like, I just thought she was so incredible. Because no matter what, she was balancing everything. And like she would bring her other daughters there. I would help them with their homework. I was just there to help her.
Right.
And in return, she helped me so much. Like she taught me like all like how to do everything. And Steph Lova too was huge. Like a huge impact in my life. Like she was another really strong woman with a very, very opinionated, big personalities. But I always been able to handle big personalities. Like I think that's part of the key to my success too. You know, I don't get intimidated by big personalities, and I get along with people.
Yeah.
And she took me all over. Everything that she did, from like clubs, concerts, events, like I was like her right hand.
Now, let me ask you, was this like your first representation of like a woman that was powerful in the media space? Because no one in your family did this. So like at what point in your life are you like, I want to do that. I want to be that person.
So let's rewind a little bit. It's like, so growing up, being like in high school, like I loved hip hop. I was obsessed, right? But I couldn't rap. And I couldn't dance.
Okay.
I couldn't break dance. I had friends who were break dancers, and I loved seeing all the B-girls. I'm like, damn, like, you know, Honey Rockwell, look, she's so lit. Like, I just was a fan, right? And then I saw like some of the female graffiti artists coming up, and I was like, damn, how does she do that? Like, that's so dope. But I couldn't do any of it.
Right.
And then I was like, I would go to parties. I had a real good fake ID girl, really young. Like, I was out in the streets at like 13, which is like, now I think back,
Laura.
I was like, I have a daughter now, and I'm like, hell no. But I mastered sneaking out of the house, and I was out at events, at parties, at underground raves,
you was
at
a little
everything.
rebel. Like,
Yeah. So if you know, somebody was performing, I was like, we gotta go. The Far Side's gonna be there. We gotta go. The Fugees are gonna be there. We gotta go. Right. So, but I just remember like listening to like women like Nautica de la Cruz, who's on the air at the time in LA. And I was like, wow, she's so dope. What a cool job. And I remember Carmelita from Sway and Tech. And I just started looking for the women that were doing amazing things. Yeah. And that's who I was like, I want to be like them. Like, I want that job. Like, and then I started becoming like a psycho researching, like, what do I have to do to get there? Like, how? So, and what kind of money do they make? Yeah. And how does the business work? So I was very like, I became obsessed with radio, and I thought it was the coolest thing, like the coolest way to entertain somebody. And like, I love the way it made you feel. So while I'm like discovering who I am as a young girl, I was in love with it. And I was like, I want to do that. And I was like, I want to be like Angie Martinez. Yeah. Like, she's so dope. And she looks like she's having so much fun. Yeah. So that's who I was just like, that was the blueprint for me.
Now, did you ever feel like, because you bring up Angie, and I know like at one point you worked with her, right? Yeah. Did you ever feel like, just now that you're in this space, like there's a lack of Latinas in the media landscape?
Let me see. I'll be honest with you. I didn't really think about it like that at the time. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was more like just looking for women, period.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You know? I was just like looking for women, and period. And I always gravitated to them, you know? So, you know, the first women in my radio career who uplifted me were all Black women. Mm-hmm. Were all Black women. There was a few, like, I remember there was a young Puerto Rican girl named Eliza back in the day, and she was just kind of starting. She was super sweet to me, but like, not like Moni helped me, not like Steph Lova helped me, you know, like with no shade, because she was trying to figure herself out. You know what I mean? So I respect that 100%. I just want to make sure it's clear. She's just trying to find her way too. You know, everybody is. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm talking about people who held my hand. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Kind of walked you through it.
Absolutely.
Gave you some gems.
Yes. Like, Deja Vu, who's on WBLS, like literally would scold me like, stop messing around. Pick up that phone. Do this, do that. No, that doesn't sound crisp enough. Like, listen, use your ear. So I would sit there and be like, I am listening. Like, I don't get it. But she taught me how to hear things differently.
So you was like a real student to the game. Like,
super.
You was,
Super. That's exactly. I still am.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I think people sometimes, they feel like, you know, like, oh, I have this thing where it's like, I get this all the time. Like, I want to do what you do. Mm-hmm. And then like, and I ask sometimes like, well, what do you think I do? Mm-hmm. Get to hang out with rappers and take cool pictures with them. And I'm just like, that's literally like 2% of it.
Of what I do, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I always, the advice that I give the youth, I just taught a class. I teach workshops and classes at the Lower East Side Girls Club every couple weeks, right? And I love doing it. Mm-hmm. I love doing it. First of all, an incredible organization. Mm-hmm. The women who have created that movement are some of the most genuine, smart, and fearless women. I'm so inspired by them.
Yes.
And they created a safe space for young girls to have like extracurricular activities and that's just me painting it with one stroke. They do so much for the community.
Yeah.
But because it's been part of like my new calling, not gonna say my new calling because I've always done it, but like calling, giving back because I came from these programs. So I teach there. Yeah. And yesterday I taught a class with a dynamic group of like young people because it was a co-ed class. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I like to give young folks is like, whatever it is that you want to do, research the hell out of it.
Yep.
Know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Understand the business of it and understand how it really works.
That's important, yes.
Because everybody wants a social moment. Everybody wants to take a picture to throw on social media and look what I'm doing. We working. Like, what exactly are you doing? You know what I mean? And the whole point is to make it like, my goal is like, I want to live a life where I'm going to work doing the things that I love to do.
Yes.
Yeah, there's hiccups. Yeah, there's a pain in the butt person that you got to deal with or drama, whatever. That's life. But every day, I want to be doing something that's close to my heart and that makes me happy.
Yes.
And I work my ass off to create this life for me.
Yeah.
So every time I get up, I did a panel at NYU. And we were talking about like things that women go through in the industry, right? And like I went through sexual harassment. But at the time, I just remember being like 25 years old. I have a contract with a company, and then I have like someone that's above me, like sexually harassing me. And then I really can't say anything because this is way before the Me Too movement.
Right.
Everybody whose advice was like, just be quiet and just keep kind of like move it along.
Yeah.
So the advice was like, just be quiet and just don't create a problem for yourself. You don't want to get blacklisted. You want to continue to work in the media. And I remember being like, you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm scared because I just got here. I finally am getting paid doing what I dreamed of doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if at any moment you open your mouth, that's it.
I'm going to be labeled a problem. And I've seen that happen to other women. So at that point, I'm shook. And I'm like, and I quietly, certain people helped me get out of that contract. And I quietly left, you know? But it stayed with me.
Yeah. Like, I think it's important to like even talk about that because a lot of people go through that, right?
Yes.
And even also like being a student to the game, like I think that's important. I remember, I'm also from radio.
Yeah.
And I remember I got into like a huge argument with Lil Yachty. Okay. I had interviewed him. And I was just like, one of the questions was, well, do you listen to like Tupac and Biggie? And he was like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And I was offended. I was like, what do you mean you don't listen to them? And he was like, that's not who I grew up around. Like, I listened to, a Drake. And I was like, and he got at me. He was like, well, do you study people that you didn't grow up with? I'm like, yes, I study Larry King. I study, absolutely. And it was like a huge thing for us because I just felt like you can't stop learning at any point in your career. Like it doesn't matter like how old they are. Like I love to like Larry King is like such a legend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Such a legend. Like why would you not like pay attention to those things? But to fast forward, because I know that you work with, a predominantly male oriented community.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
So behind the scenes, like there have been women who've came in and out. But I'm going to be honest with you. I've had a beautiful, beautiful experience working with my team now.
Okay.
So I've heard all the horror stories that a lot of women go through. Don't get me wrong. There has been times where I have blown up. We've had arguments. Yeah. Some on air.
No, I know.
I mean?
I've seen it. That's why I'm asking.
So it happens. But I will tell you this. At the core of it, we've been together for 10 plus.
Yeah.
Okay? At the core of it, they have uplifted me. Ebro and Peter have stood up for me. Sometimes when in front of me, like they've definitely like said what they had to say, and behind the scenes, and I've heard it, But it was a matter of like mind you, these are two men that have been in the industry for way longer than I have and more successful, right?
Yeah.
Like they've had a lot more, they just have a lot more time. Like Peter has been, I think right now, Peter Rosenberg has been on the air longer than all of us, like he's been for years. And Ebro was a VP at first, and then he switched over. Like he's always been talent, but like at HOD, he became talent. So, but he, again, has been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So I remember one of the things that really there's so many, but there was moments where it's like, hey, we want you to do it. And Ibra would be like, no, Laura can get that sponsorship money. I will chime in and do it with her, but she needs to get paid. It was a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
And mind you, I'm not making the money that they are, but they've always made sure that I was taken care of.
Yeah.
I remember being like, when I was pregnant, first of all, I didn't want kids. I was not a kid.
You've said that before, and I'm just like...
The reason I'm honest about it, because I truly believe that people don't have honest conversations about this.
Yes.
And it's okay. Like, I have friends who do not want children and are living fantastic lives.
Yeah.
Like, spend all of their hard-earned money, are responsible putting it, some away for retirement. But I don't think there's anything wrong with women who do not want to have children. But being a parent is not for everyone. It's exhausting.
And I wonder, did you have like how they say you have like that feeling of like at some point?
No.
I guess I don't know, because I feel like once I hit 35, I was in that same boat. I was like, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to have kids. I turned 35. I go to my GYN and she's like, yeah, we got to start talking about this.
Yes.
And so I never thought about it until someone told me, hey, what's your plan?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes. Oh, that is so real.
Well, do I want kids now? Like, I'm like,
right. So, okay, let's hold that thought. So let me just rewind, and then I want to come back to that.
Yeah.
So when I finally was pregnant, I was so scared. I was a very high risk pregnancy. And I told the Ebro and Peter, and I told them, I was very scared because, as we've seen, sometimes when you get pregnant, and this has happened over and over, like someone will come in, someone can replace you. They can be like, we really don't need this person anymore. Like, let's bring in a celebrity or somebody else. And it's always a thing where you're just like, yeah, is my job secure? Am I okay? And I know, because I was the one that had filled in for so many people before.
Yeah.
And I would always make sure, like, thank you for the opportunity. Like, we're good. I always go out of my way to try to make people feel comfortable. And I'm also thankful for the opportunity. Right. But, when I tell you, they were like, we're going to ride out. We're going to talk shit about you on the air, include you. And we're just going to be like kids that are having fun because their mom ain't home.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. And so many women have experienced this in different jobs, not just media, in all jobs, in all positions. But for me, my team made sure to make me feel secure, protected, and loved every step of the way.
Love that.
Every step of the way. I can't even tell you, like, it literally makes me super emotional because they have because I hear so many stories of women that go through hell, and I've been through it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in my team, I always love to talk about it, because you should know that there are men who care.
Yeah.
There's partners who see you for who you are and appreciate you. And they truly, truly uplifted me and protected me. And it's not easy when you're working in a high, fast-paced environment. It's the emotions are flying left and right. You work with big personalities, but I also produce my show. Like, I'm a producer on my show, so a lot of the times I'm like, I fall back and I'm doing research on the side. I'm doing this. We need this. We need that. We need that. And I also is I became the one who just kind of can get everyone together.
Yeah.
And it just truly has been a blessing for me. And I am so thankful for having the amazing people that I have on my team.
I love that.
So there's also at HOT, I just, there's so many beautiful young people that are coming up, and I just feel like we need more new voices. I'm a big champion for new talent. But yeah, there's Mia Bell, who's killing it right now.
I love Mia Bell.
I
love
killing
her.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
But Titi Torres is killing it. But she's been in the game for a long time too. But it's and then we have DJ Lady S, who's a DJ on the weekend, and Shells, Lady Shells, who's been on there. Yeah. And I want more. I feel like we need more DJs on the air, more female DJs on there. I'm always who's next? Who's next? You know, it's
and I
not my
think
call.
that's so important
but
because some people don't do that. Some people are on the opposite side where they're like, don't bring anyone in. Like, we're good.
Yeah, I know that's happened to me too.
Yeah. So,
but I think it's like, I don't want to go to, like, I'm sorry, like, I don't want to be at a club at like 4 a.m. anymore. So I need somebody who's passionate about that at that time, who's telling me what's happening in the streets, what records are hot. Like, I need somebody who's living that life to get that shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's room for everyone. There's room for everyone.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to like,
talk to me.
The children situation.
Because I have so many questions about like just you being a mom and like how that all happened. And
so I remember being like, I'm good. I don't want any kids.
Yeah.
Like, I'm traveling the world. Me and my man at the time, I remember one year I was like, when we got together, I said, you know, I travel a lot. You don't have to come with me, but if you want to, he was like, I'm out. Are you
like,
kidding me?
Out together.
I remember one year we were in Taiwan, and then we went to Vietnam. We spent some time in Vietnam, and then we were in Hong Kong, and then we were in Cuba.
He was on a world tour.
Yes. And I love traveling. I did it when I was super young. Like, my dad was a very big champion for traveling. And we were so broke, so we did the most getaway ever. I was like on buses with goats and
oh my God.
in the middle of El Salvador. But I went, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in Belize. I went to El Salvador. I went to Honduras. I went to the ancient ruins of Tikal. We did it.
Yes.
It wasn't cute, but we did it, you know? And I look back
happen.
and I'm like, wow, that was really beautiful. You know, I got to see so much about so much at a young age, and it really opened my eyes to like being addicted to wanting to see more. And I remember one summer I had quit my job. I was probably like 26 years old. I had quit my job. I was working at a reggaeton station called La Calle.
Yes.
La Calle 105.9. I'm really bad with dates and years. So if I say something that's incorrect, don't hold it against me. I'm just really bad. But I quit my job. The station flipped and it became a tropical station. I love salsa, merengue, bachata, but I don't live that life. And a lot of people are like, are you crazy? You're quitting a job in the #1 market in New York City. Can't you just play along? And in my heart, I'm like, no, I can't. This should be for somebody who actually lives this. I'm not happy. So I quit. And I quit, and everybody thought I was insane. I had a little job at Sirius XM, and Nicole and Natalie, Nina Sky, she was like, hey, do you want to be our tour manager? I was like, okay. She was like, who cares, girl? Just do it. You're mad responsible. You're smart as hell. You could do it. And I said, I could do it. So we went on tour. We were in Belgium, in the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg. Oh, God. We were everywhere.
You see, the theme right now for you is this fearlessness.
Yes,
that's all I keep hearing.
Yes.
You quit your job. You became a tour manager.
Yes.
You moved from LA to New York.
Yes. And that's a really big word that I keep in my bathroom. I'm a big fan of Frida Kahlo. She was a fearless woman. I'm a big fan of fearless women. I just feel like, to be fearless, because we only have one life, and you have to take chances. And you're going to fall, but who cares? You get back up and you try again.
Yeah.
And you're going to fall again. And it's okay, because you're going to learn from your mistake, and you're going to not do it next time.
Yes.
But yeah, I was all over the world. And I loved it.
So good.
And in the meantime, I was in my hotel room cutting with my cheap ass little mic, cutting like breaks for like my show in Sirius XM. And I remember taking advantage of like a buddy pass that JetBlue did one year, where it was like unlimited travel for $500. And that I was going back and forth to Belgium doing parties and touring with DJ Lady S. I was getting paid in euros, and I would just come back to pay rent, pay my bills. Is my dog okay? All right. You know what I mean? Letting my homegirls crash on take care of my apartment until I get back. And I was literally going back and forth. Wow. I did it for almost a whole summer. And then I did it on my own for almost a year.
Insane.
Yes.
Like,
I had like a little agency situation in Belgium. And in Antwerp. Yeah. Yeah, but I loved it. I loved it. I also got like a gig one time working with Red Bull. And I DJ'd I hosted a world DJ competition with Jazzy Jeff and a bunch of us. And we were in Taipei in Taiwan. But that took me to Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love. I fell in love with the beauty of Cuba. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
it's there's so much going on, and like it's a very hard situation for the people. But I was able to connect with like wonderful people who just showed me like the beauty of the things that they love.
Mm-hmm.
And we taught amazing workshops. I met like people from all over the world. Like, they brought together a bunch of MCs and DJs and producers from all over Latino America, Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
So we had a few days of like an incredible workshop at Factoria in Havana, and it was wonderful. But yeah, it's like it fueled my passion for like travel. Like, I was always like, I used to do this thing with my man. I was like, where do you want to go? And I would just go through like a map. I was like, just pick one.
And you guys would just travel there.
And he was just, I remember one time he was like, and it hit Vietnam. I said, we're going to go to Vietnam. So we went to Hanoi. We were in Ha Long Bay, spent a few days in the waters. Then
what was like your favorite
Ho Chi Minh
spot?
City. I don't have a favorite, but I'll tell you where I went. Not going to go back.
Okay.
Like, I was not a big fan of Spain.
Really? What? Do tell. Why?
Madrid was just like, for me, it was like, I wasn't a fan of the food. And it was just like, it's very like, this just wasn't for me, girl.
No?
It wasn't for me.
Okay. Okay.
I'm happy I went.
Okay.
But people say I have to go check out Barcelona.
Yes.
They say it's different. Okay. But yeah, I've been to Thailand. I've been to Thailand like I think 9 times.
Isn't that like one of your favorite spots? Like, I saw that on your Instagram where you was like, this is like my favorite
I love
spot.
it. I love it. So maybe
celebrate New Year's there.
So maybe I lied and say I don't have a favorite, because I'm always like, I have the excitement to travel, and I also have a deep love for Mexico too.
Okay.
But Bangkok, I have great friends there, and I literally like through my heavy hitters crew. Shout out to DJ Buddha and DJ Ono that are heavy hitters in Thailand. I remember like we all used to do these retreats, right? Like in Dominican Republic or wherever. And I was like, I want to go fuck with y'all over there. Like, I want to go. He was like, come. He's like, come. And if you go, I'll get you a bunch of gigs. You'll be good. So I was like, bet. So I remember one year I got DJ Lady shows. I was like, yo, we out. We're going to go to Bangkok. And she was like, I'm with it,
Like, why not?
So we went, and we ended up doing a bunch of parties. And I literally like discovered their whole movement over there, how they brought hip hop to Bangkok. And we had an incredible time.
Yeah.
And the next year, I came back with my new man that I was dating, at the time. And he's super down to earth and with it. And we had a fantastic time. So every year I go back to visit them. And I've been to all the islands, you know what I mean? Bangkok City is an incredible city. Right now it's getting like a huge tourist boom because of White Lotus.
Yes.
Which makes me a little sad because I felt like it was like my little secret, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's amazing. The food is incredible. Thai people are beautiful. Yeah, and I love it. But I also, I could see myself, me and my man talk about retiring there one day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can see it. You know what I think is beautiful as well? Like, you're taking your daughter with you to like these experiences. Like, she's like a little traveler as well. First of all, your daughter is bomb.
Thank you.
Can I like just like, she's like a little entrepreneur. Like, I love this for her.
Thank you.
Like, how is she getting into this? Like, how? Like,
I mean, listen, she's 4, so it's really like us doing it, you know? But
you're setting her up for success, which I love that.
Yes, and that's what it is, Like, growing up, our parents were just trying to survive. So they didn't have much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They didn't have much. With me, I'm like, so Ricardo really wanted to have a child.
Yeah.
Oh, he wanted to have multiple. And I was like,
And he was like, I'm good.
But I literally had this conversation with him on some like, I remember going to the doctor and she's like, so what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. She was like, well, before you used to tell me no.
Right.
And now you said, I don't know. So then I started being like, oh my God, like, do I really want to have a child? Like, do we want to do this? And we had many conversations. And then one day I was like, all right, I have this beautiful man who really wants, his family, and he loves and supports me. And I feel very safe with him. Mm-hmm. And I've always, because I had a tumultuous relationship with my father, I was always like, oh, I don't know
like
if I want
on the fence.
Yeah, like I don't know if I want to have kids. And I've always been like with men, like one eye open, like just in case, you know what I mean? But
did you fear that you was going to have like that type of household? Like, was that like something that crossed your mind?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Okay. I just had a small fear in me that was still there.
Okay.
And that's something that I dealt with in therapy. right? A lot of therapy, girl. A lot of therapy.
Listen,
a lot of therapy.
I hear you.
But I needed it to work through my feelings and my fears. And so we did it. It wasn't easy. It took me a while to get pregnant. So, and I had a high risk pregnancy, and that's like a whole nother episode, girl.
I know. But did you ever feel like during this process, because you do talk about your pregnancy a lot and how you didn't really have a smooth sailing ride. Did you ever feel like maybe this is not for me? Like maybe we should just stop. Like let's just
in the middle of the pregnancy.
Like let's stop trying. Actually,
well,
you know, like was that like a thought?
No. Okay, I was still with it. I was more like, damn. My entire life I was trying not to get pregnant. I felt, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm trying not to get pregnant. And then now that I'm actually like trying, I didn't think it was going to be this hard. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So it was really eye-opening for me. But yeah, then I got pregnant. I had a really high risk pregnancy. It was not, I didn't have there's some people who love being pregnant, love it. I didn't. Yeah. And the reason I say it because you need to be honest. Not everything is like, everyone wants to glamorize it like it's so beautiful. I was like throwing up and feeling horrible. Like it wasn't that great. And then I also was like, it was during COVID. So it's like, I was always like, I had fear like in the hospital, like what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was like, I'm not trying to give birth with my men on FaceTime. And that's what a lot of women were going through at the time. So
what about postpartum? Have you?
Yeah, it was really bad for me.
Yeah.
I got smacked up with postpartum depression, like really bad. I was in a really dark place. And again, like not only like was my circle was super supportive, but like my team was really supportive. Ibra was really great with me when I was going through it. And we've been through, what's beautiful about my show too is like, we've been through real life together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we've lost our parents together. Yeah. We've lost friends. Like we've had kids together. Like we've been a major part of each other's lives. And what's dope about, we're real friends.
Which is great to hear, by the way. Because some people, they just do it for, the show. Yeah.
You just show up, you do what you gotta do, and you go home and you don't even speak to these people. No. We're real friends. Like, go to each other's homes. We hang out. Our kids hang out. Yeah. Special moments were there, like we go have like, you want to hang out this weekend? Like, let's go see, we do that together. Yeah. I have something going on. Like, come. All right, I got you, like.
I love that.
I'm very, like, Kenza loves Isa and Selassie, which is Ibro's daughters, and now Rosenberg just had a new baby, MJ, like Maya. So we went to go hang out with her, and like me and Rosenberg recreate pictures of like when he was holding Kenza as a little nugget, and then now I'm holding Maya. Like we have little memories like that, which is really nice.
I love that. Can you talk to me about like the first moment you actually met your daughter? Like what was that like for you?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. It was just so surreal.
Yeah.
I remember like, I remember sitting, laying down. I just had a C-section, being all drugged up. And I remember like my man like crying and like showing, like baby comes. I just remember telling him, 10 fingers, 10 toes. Like, is she healthy? Like, that's the first thing I said because I had such a rough pregnancy. And you never know, Yeah. I was just so obsessed with like, make sure she's healthy, make sure, she's good. Because I went through hell. Like I had, oh God, everything that you can think of was wrong. It was like the worst. But I just remember her and I was like, wow, like you're a dream come true. Like you're a dream come true. Like I would have dreams about her, but I wouldn't see her face.
Really?
So to see her, it was just like, it was mind blowing to me. And like sometimes I'd look at her and I'm like, I can't believe I'm your mom. Like you're my kid,
Yeah.
Like she's really cool. Yeah. Like right now we're at an age where it's like we can have conversations. Like the other day she was like hanging out with me, like eating her little string cheese. Mm-hmm. And she's like asking me questions, Yeah. And then like one day she was like, Mommy, are you happy? And I was like, oh, that's a very layered question. That's a very deep question, Oh I said, I would be like, yeah, right now, Mommy's happy. I'm happy right now, I'm happy because I'm with you, And then we talk and like, just to hear her express her feelings. Like she was angry the other day. She's like, Mommy, my feelings are angry. I was like, okay.
Love her.
It happens, you know?
Yeah.
So we talked through it. She's cool. She's taught me a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows, like I'm a real Scorpio woman. Like I'm very like,
yeah.
black and white. What you see is what you get. I like to be I'm very decisive,
Yeah.
and like I need things quick and done. And like she has taught me so much patience.
Yeah, because you can't be like that with her.
Yeah, she's
Can't
taught me
do that.
so much patience. Like
Yeah.
we've had moments where it was like, I remember one time, I haven't had too many of these, and I feel like the universe has blessed me because like I didn't really go through the tantrum phase.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But we were having, it was just not a good day. And when I
Yeah.
sat there on the floor in my kitchen and I was just like sad. And she was crying and like because of whatever, and then she sat next to me and we both are like, and we stood there in silence. And she looked at me and she hugged me. And I was like these moments are super deep. They stay with you,
Yeah.
Life is crazy. Having a child
She's
is
showing some
crazy.
signs, actually, asking you the right questions.
Yeah.
If she wanted to get into media, would you like? How do you
she
feel?
could do whatever she
Yeah,
wants.
yeah, yeah.
I'm one of those. Like
Okay.
I have money for her when she's ready to do whatever she wants. I just really want her. I just want her to go to college, get an education. I just feel like you should be an educated woman.
Yeah.
I want you to be a critical thinker. I want you to debate. I want you to fight.
Yes.
I want you to demand respect. I just want you to have the tools you need to succeed and to do whatever it is that you want to do.
I love this.
Yeah, I'm very much like growing up, my mom and my dad were like, you need to be a nurse or go to the army. I was like, what? Like, you really don't know me,
Yeah.
But yeah, I want her to do whatever she wants. Like, I just want to make sure I'm there to support her and like have tools and money ready for her to be able to at least have like a nice, cushion to whatever it is that she wants to do in life.
How much of like your traditions are you instilling into her? Like, do you teach her about like, like just how you grew up? Like, are you speaking Spanish to her?
Yes,
like,
she speaks Spanish.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a big deal for me.
Okay.
Growing up, I will say I used to hate, like right before dinner, my dad used to make me read a page out of either a newspaper, a magazine. It didn't matter what it was. National Geographic in Spanish.
Yep.
Like, it didn't matter. Like, I had to do it out loud. And I would be so annoyed. And now I'm so thankful for that. Because I can read and write in Spanish. And being able to speak Spanish has opened so many doors for me. Like,
That's right.
I've gotten so much more work. Like I've done voiceovers in Spanish, I've had shows in Spanish, like the other as soon as I got back from my vacation when I was in Tokyo, like I got a job. The Brooklyn Nets was like, hey, can you come for Noche Latina and host and do, bring out the players in Spanish? I was like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
I'm just happy that I can. And and I want that for her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, what are your plans? Because I feel like she is being marketed. Am I wrong in this? Because I feel like she's
I battle with that.
right. Like she has like her own like line and stuff. So like, what are you?
So we launched Kenza's Closet, and I was like, it's a little kids clothing line. And I just figured all the money is going to go to her account, towards, again, whatever she wants to do. And then it'll be her business. It'll be her business when she can do whatever she wants with it. She could sell it. She could do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But at least it's hers.
Yeah.
And I battle with it. Like at one point, I'm like, am I going to take her off social media? You know what I mean? Like I have an account for her. And then she was getting all these followers. And then I started getting a little creeped out.
Yeah.
I was just like,
like she's 4.
I'm going to make this private, And I started going through it, deleting all these people off of it. So I'm just going to keep it private, her personal stuff. And then it'll be hers when she's ready. But we do kind of go back and forth with that a little bit, Like I have some friends that their kids are never on social media. Then I have friends who are just like, whatever, it's my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still trying to figure that part out.
Okay.
But you know what's cool? Like, so I have a festival called Envision Fest.
Envision, yes.
That's our baby. So we've been doing Envision Fest. Me and my partner, Sharifa Murdoch, who is a powerhouse in the fashion trade show business and like well-respected, and one of my best friends. Sharifa and I have been best friends since I was like 20. And Sharifa and I would always be like the token women on panels.
Yeah.
In token Black women, token Latina, just women, period, right? And we would just be like annoying and like, why? Like, we need more, And at the time, I remember my friend Leah McSweeney and I had a podcast, and it's no longer a thing anymore. We did it. It was Improper Etiquette. It was a really fun podcast, but all we did on that podcast was interview badass women from all walks of life, from like the music industry to like civil rights activists to like God, like we had everyone, like to a dominatrix, like just intriguing like stories that we were just like super curious about. We had a great time. We did that pop up at Complex Con, and we had all these dope ass women come to our booth and sat with us. And I was just like, we need more of this. So Sharifa was like, let's create Envision Fest and do something just for young girls, Gen Z. You know, I'm talking 16 to 25, like that age range. And like, so Sharifa and I would do these gift bags where we would like call our friends that work at Adidas or Nike or wherever, you know, like wherever, and give us backpacks and clothing and hair care products. And we would do these little give backs where it was kind of like a back to school shopping spree to give these young girls like the stuff they need to go back to school.
And what year did this start?
Like 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
No, maybe more. Six, because it's before Envision Fest. So 6, 7. And more than that, actually, more than that.
Yeah.
But we would do it because A, we know there's a need for it. And B, I came from those programs.
Yeah.
I got jackets, I got products, I got everything from like community programs. I grew up very poor. So that's where if I wanted a jacket, a new jacket, like I had to get one that was donated, right?
Yeah.
So, and it made me and Sharifa so happy. And we would do these give backs and see how happy these girls were, you know, to have like fly things to wear to go back to school. And then we started calling like our friends to join us and do like vision boards. And Sharifa's good friend, Ursula Stevens, who's like Rihanna's hairstylist, and she's Ursi on hair, fantastic. But she's a girl from Brooklyn. So she would come in and do vision boards with us. Like we literally would just bring our homegirls to come.
Yeah.
Sharifa calls me one day, we're going to make this a thing. And we created the festival. So we have big brands come in. And the first year I curated, the first 2 years I did a stage where I had Doja Cat, I had Saweetie, I had Malibu Mitch, I had Tinashe. Oh my God, I've had so many cool chicks like come through and perform. But everyone kind of like understood the assignment that I sponsor over 600 girls for inner city youth programs. I work with NYC homeless youth. I work with just regular public school teachers who are just like, Laura, I have 15 girls I want to bring to Envision Fest. I bought one ticket. Come.
Yeah.
Sharifa and I do not deny anybody. Like we sell tickets because we want to keep the lights on and we have people to pay.
Right, of course.
Our dream is to have it for free. We will. We will one day. And our tickets are so affordable. They're $39. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we have panels, workshops. Like last year, Kami Crawford was our keynote speaker. We've had Yara Shahidi. I had who else did I have? Maya the Don, Lola Brooke. All these cool people, and we team up with the Black and Fashion Council. So Sandrine Charles and Lindsay Peoples they're amazing. So they bring the whole like fashion community, and they have a booth where it's like you can come and actually have one-on-ones that people work for Condé Nast or are in that world for the girls who are interested in careers in fashion. And then like last year Adidas did a design workshop. Gap did also a design workshop. So girls were sitting there designing outfits, and like our goal is to plant seeds, right? Yeah. So girls who have never been able to like have that experience to like, it makes a difference when it's hands-on. So to sit there and work with the designer and be like, I love doing this. I want to do this as a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where inspiration comes in. And
what has been like the most memorable like moment for you throughout that process?
Oh, girl.
Because I'm sure there's so many like young women that are like coming up to you like, you've changed my life.
Oh my God. Like I literally, after I gave birth, like I'm crying all the time. Like I'm so emotional. Like even like I remember one thing when we did our first Envision Fest, my homegirl brought a group of girls. They were like from Dominican Republic and Haitian, and they hardly spoke any English. But it was the first concert they had ever been to, event. They had never been to an event before. So I go to the back, I grab VIP goodie bags, give them all these free things, and they're like crying because they couldn't believe it. And I'm crying, you know what I mean? But it just reminds you of like, yo, we've experienced life and we're so blessed and lucky to be able to do all these cool things. And there's young kids who have never ever even like step foot in it. So to be able to like see it on social media and be there is a huge difference, right? So that's been a special moment. We've been able to give grants. So like year after year, like Ebro sponsored my grants one year, which was incredible. Again, to show you how he shows up for me. And we were able to give like $10,000 out to like young female-owned businesses who needed it. So two of the girls that won One had an amazing candle making business. The other one was a nail artist who had messaging for social justice initiatives. And then one girl had a Black-owned bookstore that was focusing on Black history. It was about to close down. So we were able to pay her rent for that month. So, and in the past, we've given young business owners, like Spike Spin in Brooklyn, and we were able to give her a check. So I believe that's how you empower people. You know
how can
what I mean?
people get involved in that? Like, how can people help you out with this?
Just so you know, the festival is this year. I want you to come. I want everybody to come. It's August 9th and 10th. We do it at 99 Scott in Brooklyn.
Okay.
We've been working on it like nonstop. But outside of the actual festival, right? We started the Envision Foundation, which is my baby. Like that's really where my passion is. And we launched a mentorship program in January. At the Brooklyn Museum was gracious enough to host us, but we teamed 25 girls with 25 amazing women to mentor them throughout the year, along with involving their parents, of course. But now they have somebody. Imagine having somebody like to mentor you for the whole year that you can have constant access to, that's bringing you to all these amazing opportunities and to be able to go to work with them. So we kicked that off. So our ambassador program is amazing. We're doing our prom drive right now.
Yes, I saw that on your social.
Yes. April 27th. We're looking for donations. Literally, it could be $10. It could be $15. It could be whatever you can. We're looking for donations, prom dresses and costume jewelry.
Okay.
And then if you go to my my Instagram at Laura Stylez and go to my link in bio, it's called a Give Butter link, which is like, cool, you donate your little $20, you get an automatic like tax exempt letter, you know what I mean? Or tax credit letter, whatever it is, that you can hit your accountant with. You know what I mean? But we, last year I dressed 100 girls. 100 girls. We sent them to prom. We did 50 in Miami. And we did, we teamed up with the YWCA. We work with, like I said, we work with NYC homeless youth. And it is so rewarding. It's beautiful. These girls come in and we do it like a gifting suite.
Yeah.
I never wanted to feel like charity.
Right.
So when they come in, we dress the place up. We welcome them with a little sparkling apple cider. You know what I mean? Like to make them feel good and happy about what they're getting. There's this, I remember it. I remember going to these places to pick up stuff and feeling a little embarrassed. You know what I mean? I never want them to feel like that. So when they come in, we treat them like it's a gifting suite. And all my homegirls like come and like are there to help them get dressed, to feel good, to speak confidence into them. So it's been beautiful. We're also working on a hiking initiative where we're taking some girls who have never left the city. We're taking them out hiking and maybe hit a farm to do different things with our girls. Yeah, and we have a few projects that are coming up, but that's literally, we do all smaller events leading up to the festival.
Okay.
So that's how the Envision Foundation does all those small events, and we're a 501c3. Thank God, because it took forever to get that. I'm telling you right now, it was such a headache.
Yeah.
But Sharif and I were funding it ourselves, and I couldn't do it anymore, you know? So now we're running it as an official business, and then leading up to the festival. And the festival is fantastic. It's like the girlies show up, and it's the programming is for our girls and anyone that identifies as a female or LGBTQ, but everyone shows up.
Yeah.
Everyone, dads, brothers, like friends who just come and support, obviously because all the cute girls are there.
No, I love that you do this, and you seem very, very passionate about this. Like I feel like this is like your, like that project for you where I know this is going to go on forever for you.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I hope so, but I love it. I love it. But again, pay attention. Everything that I'm doing is things that I love to do. And that's the biggest blessing. And I think that in anything that you do, like look for something that you truly love. Because every day, you might not have a good day every day, but every day you're going to be like, you're just going to feel happy. You know what I mean? Every day you're going to feel good, like about just showing up. Just showing up. So I told you, everything that I do in my life are things that I actually want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what, listen, it's a blessing that I've been on the air for this long. You know what I mean? I'm thankful every year. It could go away next year. You know what I mean? It's like, you never know in this business. You never know. So I'm thankful that I'm able to continue. But I'm also thankful that I've developed like a great network of amazing people, because all the things that I do would not be possible if it wasn't for community. Like I call on my friends of friends who've mentioned my foundation, my name, someone who believes in it. You have no idea how many people were like, yeah. And then when it came down to it, they were like,
They don't do anything. Yeah.
No. You know, Sharifa and I would be like, you know?
Yeah.
And we would get annoyed, but it's okay, because the ones that show up will show up, and they will continue to show up. So yeah, man, it's when I tell you I'm excited. I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm trying to balance it all.
Yeah.
Being
but you
a mom,
seem like you're in a good space.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're in like a real
Yes.
what like your daughter said, are you happy?
Yes. Right now, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm
okay,
happy.
You seem like you're like you have great energy.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I feel really good. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I feel really good about everything that I'm doing. I'm excited about it. I have had beautiful moments where I've had some of my like, you know, past interns or past kids like call me because they got an amazing job opportunity. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're changing lives.
Babe,
Like,
I've had my past interns given me opportunities and work. And I love to tell the story because it was one of the first times where it really like clicked for me. Like one day I got a call years ago. Hey, Ford wants to honor you, right? Ford, the car company. I was like, okay. I was just like, all right, call. We're doing this whole thing about dreamers, and it's kids that want to do like different creative careers, but their parents are not really into it. But this is our chance to like show them how incredible they are. So I was like, I'm with it. Let's go. So I go there. We do the whole event. It was beautiful. Like there was this kid there who was like wanted to be a chef, but his dad, was washing dishes his whole life. He's like, no, I want better for you. Yeah. But he's like, no, I want to be a chef. And it's like, so there was all these different type of families. And then I asked him like, how did you guys find me? Like, oh well, they were like, so and so used to work with you. I was like, what? Like, yeah. He's like, he actually used to be your intern. And he said that you always treated him with respect and love. I used to buy him lunch. And he really fought for you. And I literally was like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, and I found him and I thanked him. And I just remember, I remember when I first started getting like a salary and benefits, like I was out doing events with the radio station, but my street team was like, if I'm eating, everyone's eating.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I made sure that they're good because I was them not too long ago. I remember what it was to being like, dude, I got to make $10 stretch. I got to eat with $10 this whole week because that's all I have, And I didn't have mom or dad to like help me. No family, Yeah. So I always feel like that. I always feel like, if you're eating, we're all eating. We'll figure it out, right? Yeah. So it was that was a special moment for me. And I've had so many of those. I'm so proud of my people. And I just feel like when you find your community, like, the universe will always reward you. Yeah. It'll always reward you for the things that you do. And as long as you do it with good intentions, with love and light.
I want to ask if you ever had this moment, just because I know, again, like in the whole Latino household, like it's rough, right? Yeah. Especially when you hit that entertainment industry. Yeah. Have you had a moment with your parents where they feel like, or they have told you that they're proud of you? Like, how much do they understand about what you're doing? How much you're impacting the community? I wonder if you had that moment with them.
So my parents didn't really understand what I did for a living for a long time.
Okay.
Like a long time. It got to the point where I was like, I stopped explaining. Yeah. Because I was just like, it is what it is, And like, I think, my dad passed. Yeah. I think I tried to tell him and I explained to him, but I think he was always like, okay, cool. Like, My mom, on the other hand, I remember, girl, I had already been on the air and done all these amazing things, hosted major shows. Like I had been, Right. I had a major campaign with Hennessy and billboards. And okay, she calls me one day. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was like Vibe magazine. You remember back in the day, in the back of the magazine, there was like pictures of like people at events, at parties. Yeah. There was pictures of me at some event. I think it was an Alicia Keys event. I don't remember what it was. She says, oh my God, you're in a magazine. And she's freaking out. And in my head, I'm like, what? My little sister's dying laughing because she was just like, girl, she finally gets it, I think, you know? So it was just so funny to me that was the moment for her, that she was like, wow, my daughter's doing something cool. A damn picture at a party.
Meanwhile, you have done all these amazing things, but she saw one picture and she's like,
so she's in a magazine that she saw at a newsstand, you know what I mean? So I always laugh at that moment, but I appreciate it. And I remember when I was doing satellite radio, I used to tell my sister, put it on so she could hear.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yes, you know. And she gets it now, you know, like she understands now. My mom is really cool, man. She's super progressive. She is a feminist. And I'm very proud of the woman she's become. Like after everything, like me and her have these really deep conversations about life. And like, I'd look at her and I remember telling her, like, I'm really proud of you. Yeah, because it's not hard. I mean, excuse me, it's hard getting out of like abusive relationships, you know?
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was really special for me. Like telling her, like, yo, I'm proud of you. You did it.
Yeah.
Because I think at one moment I used to have a little bit of resentment. Like, why didn't you leave?
Yeah.
I tried to tell you. I tried to help you, you know? I just didn't know, but I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I was too busy being fearless that I wasn't thinking about her emotional health. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking. I had one tunnel vision, you know? But I think I'm in a space right now where now I'm able to be a little bit more understanding.
Yeah.
A little bit more, my sister's like, you're such a hard bitch. Like she's always like, my sister knows how I am, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm more understanding. I'm a forever student. Yeah. I'm learning, but I remember having that moment with my mom recently, like, I'm proud of you, you know? Like, and I think sometimes, like, for everyone who's had, like, hard relationships with their parents, you know, like, they're just trying to figure it out, too.
Yeah.
And now I'm a parent. I'm just trying to figure it out. You know, I'm just trying to do the things that I think are right, you know? I think they're right. I'm trying to do it with good intentions and be the best person that I could be for you. And, like...
I mean, how much has therapy helped in this, like, process for you?
So I will tell you this. It has literally changed my life.
Yeah.
It has changed my life. And I'm tired of hearing like it's such a taboo thing in the Latino households. Yeah. And like, do it. There's so many tools. There's so many moments where it's like, there's so many programs that offer you the opportunity to get free therapy. Take advantage of it. You know, like I've seen relationships completely change with my friends. Like I've seen it. And it's really important. Like I'm still in therapy. You know what I mean? Like I'm 5 years deep and it's the best thing I ever did. Yeah. Like literally the best thing I ever did. And one thing that I will say, therapy is not one size fits all. You'll find a therapist. I had a therapist that helped me through that part of my life for 2 years. And then afterwards, it just didn't work anymore. It didn't work out anymore. I found somebody else, didn't work out. The one I have now, we've been together for a couple years and she's been fantastic because she understands me, you know? So I just think it's really important to find the therapist that's right for you and don't give up. I know people like, I tried it, it wasn't for me. And maybe that therapist wasn't for you. Yeah. Just like a doctor. Not every doctor, they work for you. They work for you. So let me remind you, you can advocate for yourself. You should be able to ask the questions. You know what I mean? Nobody should be able to like talk down to you. Like just remember that they work for you. So I encourage you, like if you've ever thought about it, just take that step and do it. Yeah. I mean, it literally changed my life.
No, it does. I feel like that part for me, because I'm in therapy as well, but I feel like I need like a therapist for money. Like, because I feel like growing up, I didn't have the best relationship with money. Yeah. And I always blamed my mom for that because I really watched my mom struggle. She didn't save. She was always like, don't get a credit card. And then I'm like this big age and I'm like, now I'm afraid of credit cards.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I try to go get an apartment. And it's like, your credit score.
Yeah.
You know,
it's real life.
It's real life.
It's real life. But now you found your therapist. You could talk to those things.
I love my therapist.
And you get to the root of those things. And isn't it beautiful when you finally like you get an awakening about something that you held on for so long. Yeah. And you're finally like free. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But like I said, we're always learning as human beings.
I love this. I want to, before you go, because I know you got to go, but I do want to get into rapid fire questions if you don't mind. Okay. So these are going to go quick.
Okay. All right. I'm terrible at these, but
no, you're so good at this. Okay. Tell me you're Latina without telling me you're Latina.
Bustelo is a must every morning.
Literally. No, literally.
No other brand.
No other brand.
Okay.
What's your favorite Spanish dish? Latin dish. I don't know why I always say Spanish dish. Latin dish.
Oh my God. I have a few.
Mm-hmm.
But I love. I'll be in the mood for a good tacos at any time. Birria tacos, carne asada, like flor de calabaza, like anything. Like I love tacos. Like I love it. So it's my favorite. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I know my strengths, you know what I mean? So
I get you.
You know,
I feel
so
you.
I can breakfast, I'm good. I'm clean breakfast. Everything else is like, I'm okay.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I eat out a lot, or I have somebody else cook for me a lot.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that. What's one thing you need in the morning?
You know, now I start my day very early, but I wake up 20 minutes earlier now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I take that time to meditate. It's a 10-minute meditation.
Yes.
You can find one on YouTube. It doesn't have to get complicated.
Yeah.
A guided meditation. And because my life can be really chaotic, I really cherish that quiet time in the morning. It's just like, and at first I thought it was like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is this really like, but I started doing it. And it really centers me in the morning.
Yeah.
And I appreciate, especially like when, you know, it's like as soon as I start my day, I have headphones in and it's like music, arguing, this, that, you know what I mean? It's my job is so fast paced and I have a child and you know what I mean? That quiet time for me is so important.
It's everything. You know what I do a lot in the morning? I script.
Oh, nice.
Like I love, it's so weird because I almost feel like it's like my form of prayer.
Yes.
Like I speak to God via my journal.
Oh, I love this. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I feel like if I miss a day, I don't know, like my day doesn't like go as smooth. So I try to keep this morning routine. Yeah.
And you're gonna gift those to somebody in the future? Or what are you gonna do with these?
I always say that it's so like childish of me, but I'm like, if someone was to rob my house right now and read all my shit, they would be like, wow, she lived an amazing life. But it's because in real time, I'm like manifesting.
Yes.
So I'm like, yeah.
You know what I do too?
Talk to me.
I email my daughter.
Really?
I created an email account.
That's fire. Now that's good.
And I write to her.
Oh, she is going to love this.
I write to her. Like, I'll send her like photos. I'll tell her about my life. And I write to her when she's old enough, she'll be able to log into her account and see that mom, like, you know, was writing to her.
That is so, where did you get that from? Like,
I don't know. One day I was just like, I want her to know about me.
Yeah.
I want her to know how much I loved her and how I loved her. Yeah. And how I felt at the time and like special moments that meant something for me. Because sometimes like you forget.
Yeah.
You just forget life, you know?
Yeah.
So I sometimes when I've had special moments or like just a bad or a good day, I write to her.
Could you imagine years later we see a book, emails from Laura?
Maybe.
She just like published all these thoughts.
Whatever she wants to do. But yeah.
That is so dope.
Thank you.
Oh, so good.
Do it.
Oh, yes.
Create one. And if you have a child, do it. It's really like, so that's like, I love that you actually write though. I think that's so beautiful.
And I'm old school. Like I actually pen to
love
paper.
That. Love it. Yeah. But I in the morning after my meditation, sometimes honestly on my iPhone, like if something pops into my heart, I just send it to her.
So beautiful.
Thanks.
And you said you didn't want to be a mom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What is this chapter of your life called?
Oh, man. I think this chapter, what would it be called? I think I'm going to call it The Awakening. And the reason I'm going to call it The Awakening is because other chapters of my life, right? I've had a little bit of doubt. As normal, we all, right? We all like walk in with some doubt, self-doubt. But this time, like, I'm very awake and I'm very focused and I know who I am. And I'm very aware of my feelings and I'm honest about it. I'm honest about the things I want and the things I don't want. Like, I'm very aware. And like now I'm fearless. I've always been fearless, but you know, there's different kinds. You know, you go through a roller coaster of emotions as you get older, but like, I know what I want.
Yeah.
I know what I want.
At what point in your life did you like say that to yourself, where you're like, because it hits you, right? Like when you know what you know, like no one could tell you shit about anything at that point. Like, what was that moment for you?
So it's very hard for me to answer that because I've always had like vision, right? I told you at like 19, I was like, I'm out of here and I'm going to leave this life that I'm living and I'm going to go follow my dreams. So I've had very different points in my life where I've led with love and like want. I've led with fearlessness. I feel like this is my moment right now, right? Like when I first signed my radio contract, that was I sat there and I was like, I can't believe I did it. Like I did it, you know? I'm in my early 20s, girl. I was like 20, I don't know, 4, whatever. Yeah. And I did what I said I was going to do. I came from, I'm a daughter of a bookbinder and a housekeeper and with no money, and I figured it out, right? So I've had different moments of my life where I felt, you know, like I truly was where I needed to be, right? And I remember also being like, saw my first billboard, you know what I mean? I was like, I can't believe I'm in New York City. I have a billboard. Oh my God, this is crazy. You know, I had a TV show, you know, with my friends, you know, things like that.
When you became a mom, you're like, I did it.
Yes. I looked at my kid like, oh, I did it, you know? But there's so many, like, I have so many, like, huge moments in life. But right now, I can honestly tell you, I know what I want. And I'm happy and I'm doing it. And I'm doing it. And there's more. I have more things that I'm going to do, that I'm going to do. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So that leads to my next question.
Yeah.
What haven't you worked on that you would like to work on?
Oh, well, I have some projects that I'm not going to talk about it yet because I'm not ready.
That's fair.
I'm not ready.
It's fair.
But just know that it's something that I had always in the back of my head, in the back of my heart, and I knew I was going to do it one day. And I finally started working on it.
Okay.
So this is what I mean, where I'm like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
I'm going for it. And I want everyone, like, if you're listening right now, like, just do it. Just do it. So many people, like, don't get to do the things that they love because of self-doubt. Oh my God, you could do whatever you want. Oh, you really could. You just do it your own way.
Yeah. I love this energy, by the way. Love this energy. If you had an opportunity to have the Last Supper with 3 Latinas, dead or alive.
Oh, okay.
Who would they be?
Okay, so definitely it would be Celia.
By the way, everyone says this.
Everyone says Celia, right?
Everybody
It would be Celia,
this.
of course.
Yes. Love her.
I was just watching a clip of her and Patti LaBelle going back and forth. Yeah. Oh my God, so beautiful. Like,
it
would be Celia, it would be Frida.
Frida's so good.
I would do, and like, you know who else too? And she's alive. And I want to meet her one day. It would be Dolores Huerta.
Oh,
civil rights activist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would just love to talk to her.
Pick her brain.
You know what I mean? I just want to hear some stories. Like, I just want to hear it from her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those 3.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to be Latina?
I mean, it's who I am. You know, it's who I am. It's I don't know how to be anyone else. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, I celebrate. I'm a big fan of different cultures. I love to indulge and celebrate in different cuisines, and I love to learn about music and history from different Latinos. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I've had the pleasure of having such a beautiful, like, a diverse group of people that have blessed me with their presence in my life. And I've been to a lot of beautiful countries too. Like I had one of my best homegirls growing up is from Honduras. So I was able to go, and I've been to Tegucigalpa. I've been to the ruins, you know, and I spent time there. You know, I've had friends from Panama, from Nicaragua, from Uruguay, and Mexico, which I love. I grew up going to Mexico a lot because I lived in Los Angeles. So we would drive to like Southern California, down to Baja, into Tijuana and Ensenada. So for me, I grew up going there. And then like recently I've been going to Mexico City a lot, which it's incredible. It's beautiful. Yeah. Like I can't even, I recommend like go experience like the cuisine, the energy. I went for Dia de los Muertos.
Oh, that's good.
Incredible experience.
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
Oof, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. I love it. My partner is from Dominican Republic. So we're constantly like, I'm learning, learning. I'm a student always. So I love, I'm such a nerd. I love to like learn about new things. Like,
Yes.
yeah, but being Latina means strength, means love, means passion, means hard work. It means so much.
Mm-hmm. Finish this sentence.
Okay.
Laura's like, I'm going to kill you. I said I need to leave. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Growing up Latina is?
Growing up Latina is exciting. There was always something going on, like always something going on, never boring.
Yeah.
Whether it was my family, like a lot of Latinos, always a reason to celebrate. Small wins, celebrate. Let's do a carne asada. You did this, you did that. Like, it was always a reason, like, oh, car is fixed. Let's have, you know what I mean?
Might as well.
Let's have a sancocho. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like a celebration. So, yeah.
Okay. And then last, I guess this is like a selfish question.
Okay.
But tips on how to be fearless.
Wow. So, I would say, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to who you truly, truly are. I feel like not enough people like literally like sit in silence sometimes in your own thoughts and like really ask yourself tough questions, like people always say, what is your plan? Like, what is your plan? And a lot of people can't answer that because they've never thought about it. They're living in the moment, right? You should live in the moment too. Like, be here, be present, right? When you're doing things. But I feel like not enough people really, truly listen to their hearts. I've always listened to my heart. I've always felt like I shouldn't have to do things I don't want to do. So look for what makes you happy and then fight for it. You have to fight for it. Yeah. You have to fight for it. You have to fight. You have to chase. You have to show up. You have to do whatever you got to do to get there. And it's so doable. Like, for a long time, I worked all these odd jobs to get to where I wanted to be. And if you're focused and disciplined and make a plan, you'll get there. You'll get there. Everyone I know around me who has had a passion, somehow, some way, has worked their way up to getting what they wanted. Hey, like I have a friend who is a singer, singer-songwriter. Yeah, she didn't blow up as an artist, but she still writes music for people. She's still in that studio while she's flipping houses. You know what I mean? And doing everything else. But her passion is still being celebrated and nurtured. So it's about really listening to who you are inside and what you want. And I think a lot of people don't have that, are scared of it. I should say are scared of it. Because you have to like really listen to yourself and ask yourself, what is it that makes me happy right now? Like what is it that I want? I knew what would make me happy. So I was like, all right, let me figure it out now. What's the plan, So I think that's the root of it. Yeah. I think that's the root of it.
That's so beautiful. Like earlier today when I was getting glam done, I was literally crying in the seat. And my makeup artist is like, why are you crying? And I'm like, this podcasting is so hard. Like, it's so hard. Yeah. And you fight for it and you fight for it. And it's just like, people don't understand, like, this is like a real business. Like, you're trying to scale, right? Yeah. And it's so hard. So, like, just hearing the tip, like, really means a lot to me. And
I love that.
I'm so glad that I kept going with reaching out to you for a whole year and making this happen. I really thank you for coming on the show. Like, such a beautiful soul, like, beautiful energy.
Thank you.
And I know everyone's going to get the most out of this. So thank you so much, Laura.
Yes. Of course. Thank you for having me. And listen, parting words, like, follow us at Envision Fest, ENVSN Fest. It's a love letter. Sharifa and I's love letters to us, to our younger selves. And we want to continue doing the good work that we do. And I promise you, come to our festival. You'll have a fantastic time. Yes. If you're a school teacher, if you have daughters, you have nieces, come. Just come and see what we're doing. We're really proud of the work that we're doing. And if you want to support the Envision Foundation in every way, you can go to envisionfoundation.org and you can donate. I always tell people, just donate. You don't have to have a lot of money. It could be $20. You know what I mean? And it's all going to a beautiful cause.
Thank you so much, Laura Stylez.
Thank you.